Welcome to Living of Jesus, a space created to reflect, learn, and be transformed by the life, teachings, and spirit of Jesus Christ. This channel is dedicated to exploring not only the historical story of Jesus, but the living message he continues to offer the world today, a message of love, compassion, forgiveness, humility, and unwavering faith. Here we journey through the gospel narratives, parables, miracles, and moments of quiet prayer that reveal how Jesus lived among people, walked with the broken, challenged injustice, and invited everyone into a deeper relationship with God and one another. Living of Jesus is not just about knowing what Jesus said or did, but about understanding how his way of life can shape our own daily choices, attitudes, and actions in a modern world filled with noise, division, and uncertainty. Through reflections, teachings, stories, and practical insights, this channel seeks to inspire hearts to live with greater purpose, kindness, and courage, following the example set by Christ. Whether you are seeking spiritual growth, biblical understanding, encouragement in difficult times, or simply a moment of peace and truth, this channel welcomes you with open arms. We will explore themes such as loving your neighbor, serving selflessly, trusting God in hardship, forgiving without limits, and finding hope even in suffering. The life of Jesus shows us that true strength is found in humility, true leadership in service, and true freedom in surrender to God's will. Living of Jesus is a place for believers, seekers, and anyone curious about the transformative power of Christ's life and message. May this channel become a source of light, renewal, and guidance, helping you not only learn about Jesus, but truly live as he lived, loving deeply, walking faithfully, and shining hope into the world every day. My child, I am warning for the last time. Do not do it. Stop everything you are doing. Still your hands, quiet your breath, and open the deepest chamber of your heart. For it is there that these words must land. If your mind wanders now, if your attention scatters, if you treat these words lightly, then you will allow the moment to pass, and it will not return in the same way again. There is a line before you, a threshold woven not from fear, but from the fragile substance of your own becoming. And the enemy, who is not a creature of horns or fire, but the whispering shadow of your wounded places, is urging you, teasing you, prodding you to step past it. That line, child, is one you must not cross. You have felt it even if you did not name it. You have sensed the weight of it, the boundary between what strengthens your soul and what fractures it. The enemy does not demand that you leap into darkness. He only asks for a step, a small step, a quiet compromise, a surrender so subtle you can almost convince yourself it is nothing at all. But nothing subtle is truly small when it opens the door to the unraveling of who you are meant to become. Listen to me now. I speak not to frighten you, but to call you back from the precipice where your spirit hesitates. I speak because I see the currents around you. Currents you pretend are harmless. Currents you tell yourself you can swim in without being swept away. You lean toward them with curiosity or exhaustion or longing, telling yourself you will wade only ankle deep. But child, I see the undertow, and it is stronger than you imagine. Do you not sense the shift in the air? The quiet feeling that something in your life is trembling on its hinge. That tremble is not chaos, but consequence. You are approaching choices that shape not only your days, but the posture of your heart. Every path turns gradually, almost imperceptibly. You will not know how far you have wandered until the landscape around you has changed beyond recognition. That is why I speak now before your feet commit themselves to a road where my voice becomes faint. Not because I leave you, but because you drift beyond the place where you listen. Child, pause. Breathe. Feel the gravity of this moment. You imagine that the line before you is external, that it has something to do with the actions of others, the circumstances you face, the temptations you encounter. But the line is within you. It is drawn through the territory of your intention, your desires, your rationalizations, your fears. It is the threshold between the self that longs to rise and the self that collapses inward when life becomes heavy. You have wavered near this line before. Many times I have whispered to you, and many times you heard me, even if you pretended you did not. But now the pressure within you is different. There is a weariness that did not exist in earlier seasons, a slow erosion of trust in your own strength, a silence where courage once lived. And it is in this weariness that the enemy works best. He waits for the moment when you say maybe just this once, or it doesn't matter. Or no one will know, or worst of all, I am too tired to care. He does not need your rebellion. Your resignation is enough. But hear me, you are not as tired as you believe. You are simply misusing your strength, pouring it into battles that do not serve you, into self-accusations that do not heal you, into fears that drain you but never protect you. You battle shadows and call it courage. You carry burdens that were never your own. And then you tell yourself you are weak when in truth you are merely misaligned. Child, the line you must not cross is not one of anger or punishment. It is a line of identity. To cross it would be to abandon the self that is still forming within you. The self that aches to rise, the self that has survived storms you cannot even remember clearly. I speak to preserve you, not to condemn you. I speak because I know what lies beyond that line, and it is not a place designed for your soul to inhabit. You think you can step over it and step back again. You believe in the illusion of undoing, imagining that consequences always wait patiently while you explore your impulses. But not every door can be reopened after it is closed, and not every path can be reversed by simply turning around. Some choices reshape the soil beneath your feet. They alter the geography of your inner world. Child, do not walk toward the thing you know is wrong for you. Do not lean toward the comfort that poisons you. Do not follow the voice that flatters your weakness while starving your strength. You have been in this tug-of-war before, but this time the cost is far greater. Because what you risk losing is not merely peace or progress, but a part of your interior clarity, a part of the wisdom you have fought to gain. Do not lie to yourself about what you are contemplating. You know what I am speaking of even if no one else does. You have rehearsed the justification in your mind, tried to paint it with logic, with excuses, with spiritual language, with emotional longing. But child, you cannot disguise the truth from the one who sees through the layers of your heart. You cannot create a narrative that makes the harmful harmless. No matter how carefully you shape the story, its foundation remains the same. Turn back while the turning is still gentle. Do not wait until it requires tearing something from your hands, something you thought you could hold without consequence. I do not want to break you. I want to bend you back toward the direction that will keep you whole. Listen again. The enemy wants you to believe that crossing the line will give you relief or freedom or clarity, but what waits beyond it is neither freedom nor clarity. It is entanglement. It is complication disguised as liberation. It is a hunger that grows sharper the more you feed it. That is the nature of the temptations tailored for you. They are crafted to mimic your deepest needs while burying you farther from their true fulfillment. My child, you are closer to transformation than you realize. That is why the pressure is intensifying. The enemy always grows noisier when you are near a breakthrough. He wants to drag you back into old cycles, patterns you thought you escaped from, burdens you swore you would never carry again. He wants you to confuse familiarity with safety, to mistake numbness for peace, to call surrender healing, when it is simply avoidance dressed in a comforting disguise. But you are not who you once were. You are not meant to shrink back into a season that no longer fits you. And so I speak now to pierce the fog around your thoughts. You are being given a choice that will define the direction of your interior life. It is not a dramatic choice that others would notice. It is quiet, internal, hidden. But quiet choices have loud consequences. The small decisions of the soul echo through a lifetime. Child, you have prayed for guidance. You have asked for a sign. You have begged for clarity. Do not pretend now that you do not recognize my answer simply because it challenges you. The guidance you sought is here. It is not wrapped in comfort, but in truth. It is not delivered in softness, but in urgency, because the moment calls for urgency. You must stop. You must step back. You must choose the path that aligns with your highest self, rather than the one that satisfies your immediate emotion. You must trust that restraint is not punishment. It is protection. And you must remember that walking away from what harms you is not loss. It is wisdom. I know it feels like you are holding something fragile, something precious, something you fear to let go of because it fills a space within you that you do not know how to fill alone. But child, That space is not meant to be filled by the thing you are reaching toward. Some longings are shaped by wounds, not by destiny. Some desires are echoes of old pain, not whispers of your purpose. Do not follow the echo. Let it fade. Walk toward the voice that calls you upward, not the one that drags you into the shadows of your former self. You think you stand alone in this struggle, but I am nearer than your own breath. I am not watching from a distant throne. I am standing beside you, within you, urging you gently away from the edge. I do not shame you for standing so close to that line. I understand the forces that brought you there. The hurts, the doubts, the exhaustion, the longing for something that feels like relief. But I also see the brilliance within you that cannot shine if you step into a place not meant for your soul. Step back. Return to the ground where peace can grow. Return to the place where your integrity is not compromised. Return to the path you know is yours. Even if it feels steep, even if you must climb with trembling hands, you are capable of this, more capable than you imagine. You are stronger than your impulses, deeper than your fears, wiser than your wounds. And though the enemy whispers otherwise, though he tells you that you are weak, that you are alone, that you have already gone too far to turn back, understand this. He fears your strength more than you fear his deception. My child, you ask why my words, my guidance, and my warnings must never be ignored. Listen closely, for what I speak to you now is not merely instruction. It is revelation of the inner workings of your soul, of the laws woven into creation itself. I speak not to overwhelm you with fear, but to awaken in you a clarity that the world often clouds over. When you hear me, when you sense my nudging, when something within you grows still or troubled at the sound of truth, it is because your spirit recognizes what your mind tries to rationalize away. The reason my warnings matter is not because punishment awaits you like a threat. No, child. It is because every word I speak is aligned with the structure of reality, with the pattern of life, with the currents that lead toward wholeness rather than fragmentation. My words are not arbitrary commands. They are not the rules of a distant ruler who enjoys control. They are the voice of the one who formed you, the one who knows the intricacies of your heart, the fractures in your story, the longings in your bones. When I speak from perfect understanding. When I warn from perfect vision. When I guide from a knowing beyond your knowing. And so the reason you must never ignore my voice is simple. I see what you cannot yet see. You move through life as though you are walking through a forest at dusk. Shadows shifting shapes unfamiliar, sounds echoing in ways that confuse direction. You think you understand the path you choose, but you see only a few steps ahead. My sight extends far beyond that. I see the bend in the road long before you reach it. I see the traps that are hidden beneath leaves. I see the predators waiting silently at the edges. I see the path that appears smooth but ends in a steep drop. I see the trail that looks difficult but leads to a clearing filled with light. When I tell you do not go there, it is not deprivation, it is protection. And when I tell you walk this way, it is not coercion. It is guidance toward the version of yourself that is still waiting to be born. Ignoring my warnings is like closing your eyes to the cliff ahead, just because the ground beneath your feet still feels solid. The danger does not cease to exist simply because you refuse to look at it. And so I speak to you not to control you, but to save you from wounds you do not need to suffer, from losses that are avoidable, from inner fractures that take years to heal. You must understand, child, that when I warn you, it is because something in the spiritual landscape around you has shifted. I do not speak without purpose. I do not speak out of irritation or impatience. I speak because the ground is changing, the currents are moving, and choices that once carried little weight now carry great consequence. My warnings appear urgent, not because I am angry, but because you are approaching something that can wound you more deeply than you realize. You think sometimes that my warnings are merely moral instructions, but they are far more than that. They are signals. Signals that your inner compass is drifting, that your desires are pulling you toward what seems comforting, but is truly corrosive. That your thoughts are slowly bending toward beliefs that can suffocate your spirit. I speak so you do not lose yourself. You have felt the consequences of ignoring me before. Not in moments of obvious rebellion, but in the subtle ways your life becomes heavier when you do not listen. You have felt the confusion that grows when you walk away from the truth you know. You have felt the anxiety that rises when you try to justify what your spirit rejects. You have felt the exhaustion that settles on your chest when you choose the easier path instead of the right one. These sensations are not punishments, they are indicators. They are the emotional bruises you feel when you bump against the boundaries that protect your soul. My voice is not something external that interrupts your life like thunder, interrupting the sky. My voice is woven into your conscience, into your intuition, into the sudden clarity that stops you mid-action. My voice is the weight you feel when you are about to compromise what you know is good. It is the spark of conviction that flashes in the darkness of temptation. It is the uneasy stillness that warns you before your heart crosses a line. It cannot uncross without leaving a scar. To ignore my voice is to ignore the compass that keeps you from losing your way. Child, you must understand that ignoring my warnings does not only affect the moment in which you choose to disregard them. It alters the trajectory of your life in ways you cannot perceive immediately. Decisions are not isolated events. They create ripples. What you choose today shapes the possibilities of tomorrow. Every step you take opens one path and closes another. When you ignore my guidance, you may open a door that leads to chains, not freedom. You may step onto a path that drains you slowly, quietly, until you no longer recognize yourself. You may become entangled in a situation that dims the light within you and makes you forget who you truly are. I do not want that for you. The world will offer you illusions that glitter with false promise. The enemy will whisper lies that feel comforting because they affirm your fears or justify your desires. And your own mind, tired, hurt, searching, will sometimes join in the chorus, telling you that my warnings are too harsh, too restrictive, too old-fashioned, too unrealistic in the face of modern struggle. But child, truth does not age. Wisdom does not expire. Spiritual laws do not change simply because you live in a time that values convenience over character. You ignore my warnings when you believe that your understanding is enough, when you trust your impulse more than your intuition, when you let your desires speak louder than your discernment, when you let wounds decide for you instead of wisdom. But your understanding, no matter how sharp, is limited. You see one layer, I see all layers. You see the surface, I see the roots. You see the moment, I see the outcome. The reason my warnings must be heeded is because they are not merely instructions. They are revelations of unseen consequences. Child, understand this. Every soul has points of vulnerability, areas of weakness, old wounds that have not fully healed, patterns inherited from pain. And it is precisely in those areas that ignoring my voice becomes the most dangerous. For the enemy does not attack where you are strong. He attacks where you are tired. He does not undermine the part of you that is confident. He undermines the part of you that is wounded. He does not push you where you stand firm. He pushes you where you tremble. When I warn you, I am addressing those trembling places. I am guarding the places where you are fragile. I am shielding the parts of you that have been bruised by life and are vulnerable to repeating cycles that you have fought desperately to escape. No parent warns their child out of desire to limit them. They warn them to protect them from danger the child cannot see. In the same way, my warnings are expressions of love. They are the echoes of my desire to see you free, whole, and unburdened. You must understand, too, that ignoring my voice disconnects you from my guidance in gradual ways, not because I retreat, but because you stop listening. Every time you silence the whisper of your conscience, the next whisper becomes harder to hear. Every time you choose the road of convenience over conviction, you dim the sensitivity of your spiritual hearing. You begin to mistake noise for guidance, emotion for clarity, desire for destiny. My warnings are not given to control your life. They are given to preserve your ability to hear me at all. For when you stop listening, not only do you lose direction, you lose yourself. You ask why you must never ignore my words. Because my words are life to you. They are the breath your spirit needs to stay aligned with truth. They are the light that keeps you from stumbling in darkness. They are the anchor that keeps you grounded when storms rise around you. They are the shield that guards your heart from the lies that try to shape your identity. My words carry healing. My words carry healing. My words carry correction. My words carry deliverance. My words carry deliverance. My words carry deliverance. My words carry deliverance. My words carry wisdom that can protect you from years of unnecessary suffering. My words carry wisdom that can protect you from years of unnecessary suffering. My words carry the blueprint of your purpose, the map of your becoming, the seed of your transformation. When you ignore them, you are ignoring the very architecture of your destiny. You must also understand the nature of warnings. They come before consequences, not after. They come while there is still time to turn back. They come while the damage can still be prevented. They come as gentle hands pulling you away from a fire you do not yet recognize as dangerous. Once you cross certain thresholds, the warning changes into the lesson. But lessons are often learned through pain. And while I can redeem every pain, I would rather protect you from unnecessary wounds. That is why my warnings come before the consequences take form. They are an invitation to choose wisdom while the cost is still small. Child, you must never ignore my voice, because your life is not shaped only by the things you do. It is shaped by the things you choose not to do. Discipline in one moment may protect you from a situation that would have consumed you. Saying no today may save you from a lifetime of regret tomorrow. Turning away now may preserve a part of your soul that is more precious than any temporary desire. Do not ignore them. For when you listen, you do more than avoid danger. You open yourself to everything beautiful that I have already prepared for you. Stay sensitive, stay aware, stay aligned.